Here's how you set up restraints. First thing I'm going to do is go into the car with F3X. And I already have the rest of the restraint set up, but the car one is not, so I'm going to set that up really quickly. The restraints default positions are down, and the system will raise them up. So have them start down. And so I'm going to select this model, this restraint. This has every part within it that I want to rotate. And I'm going to press Control G to group it. I'm going to name the new model restraint model. And within it, I have this model here. I'm going to add a bool value and name that open. You don't need to touch this. The system just uses this to control whether or not the restraint's up or down. And I'm going to go to the restraint model, select it, go down to attributes, click add attribute, and add a number attribute called degrees. And this will be the amount of degrees your restraint rotates when it goes up or down. So I'm going to set this to 25. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a part out of the restraint model and name it root. And I'm going to anchor this part. And I'm going to set its size to something pretty small, probably like 0.25, 0.25, 0.25. And I'm going to move this part down to the place that the restraint should rotate around. So it's like the hinge, basically. This restraint will rotate around this part of the floor. So I'm going to put the root part right there. You want to line it right up with that place. There. And then I'm going to set its transparency to 1 and make it non-collidable. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to press rotate or control 4. Make sure you have this little L visible. This means that it's showing the local axes. You see how these axes change when I rotate it? And so to get this, press control L until it's visible. The restraint model will rotate around the blue axis, or the z-axis, and so you want that to be pointed in the direction that the restraint should rotate. So I'm just going to rotate this 90 degrees until that's going this way, which I want it to be. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the model, or I'm going to select the root part, copy its position, select the model, and paste that into world pivot position. And I'm going to do the same with the orientation. So copy the root's orientation and paste that into the model's world pivot orientation. And now the model will rotate around this point too. I'm going to select this restraint model, group it, and name that restraint model. And I'm going to do the same with these two models too. I'm going to copy this open bool value from the first model and paste it into all three. So they're all set up like that now. And now I'm going to select all these restraint models, go down to attributes, add attribute, add a number attribute called degrees, and make sure they're all at 25. Yeah, like that. I'm going to select the root part from the first one and duplicate it, then move it over. Set it in this second model, copy its position, paste that into the second model's world pivot orientation. Sorry, world pivot position, like that. Then I'm going to select its orientation and paste that into the model's world pivot orientation. I'm going to duplicate this root part again. Almost it. Make sure I didn't mess anything up. I did not. I'm going to drag this over to where this restraint rotates, so right about there. Copy its position, paste that into the model's position, copy its orientation, and paste that into the model's world pivot orientation. Then I'm going to do the same thing. Whoops. I'm going to do the same thing with the final restraint. Just going to copy this root over, drag it into the model, select model, or sorry, select root, copy position, put that as the model's world pivot position, and do the same with the orientation. Now I'm gonna hit publish, Alt P, nope, Alt P, go in game. Load. I'm gonna go head over to the panel and set it into manual mode. And when the train spawns, wait for it to park, and the restraint button is illuminated and dispatch is flashing. Click this to raise restraints, and as you can see, they raise up. I probably need to set degrees to more than 25 so they raise up further, but you get the point. If it's in manual and you have permission to use the panel, you can lower any restraint by clicking it. You do this by putting a click detector, just one, anywhere in your restraint. So for example, in this model, I put it in this part. And initially, your click detector should not be clickable. System will make them clickable. By default, they should not be. So set max activation distance to 0 to achieve that. And you can also see which restraints are locked or unlocked on this panel. All the red restraints are unlocked, meaning they're up. And these two in the front are green because they are locked. And so if I want to set all the restraints down, I can just click the restraint button again. Now they're all down. Same with up and back down. And I can dispatch the restraint. There it goes. If you're right, it's in automatic mode when it parks. You'll see that the restraints are raised automatically. So just wait for it to park here. I just have these gates set up as a test. That's why they're in such an odd spot. So when it parks, the restraints will come up. I'm going to set this back to manual really quickly. And if I leave these gates open and the restraints up and I click dispatch, when it comes alive like that, see? If I click dispatch, the gates will close and the restraints will close for me. And then the train will dispatch. And that's pretty much all there is. You just set up the model, set up or add the open bool value, change degrees, add this root part where you want the hinge to be, make sure it's rotated properly, then set the model's roll pivot to this root's position and orientation. And that's really all you have to do. You can go back and tweak the degrees by like, in my case, I probably need to increase these to something like probably 40 or so I would just change it there. But just trial and error it until you get something you're happy with, and that's all there is to it.